What surprised you most about 2024?
That it continued to grow the economy as strong as it was. I mean, we're probably going to have a 3% GDP for the year, and that was a lot more than anyone expected a year ago. With the Fed having raised rates as much as they did and as quickly as they did after they were a little late to the party, it was surprising how strong the economy was. And just to talk about what you mentioned, Mark, in terms of the rates, nobody knows where the neutral rate is, but they know it's not 2%. Okay, yeah. It's probably closer to 4%. So but it has been a surprise.
So if they fix GDP, they fix an inflation problem, because isn't a strong GDP inflationary?
Not necessarily. Okay. If in turn productivity follows. So there's no particular reason to get angsty about 3% growth. I don't think we'll see that this coming year, but I think that that was. You asked me what the surprise was. That was a surprise.
What surprised you about 2024?
Well, that we had 3% growth and we had a change election. It just the two don't go together, and that was a question I got. I was traveling in Europe, and everybody was like, what? You've got twice the growth that we have, and why did you throw the bums out? What goes? It just doesn't go that way, and it really gets back to what I'd said a little earlier, in that it's not 3% for everybody. If you earn the median income or less, and the median is the midpoint, so that's half of the country. It hasn't been 3% growth for you. It hasn't been a good economy, and those are the folks that really came out and voted for change.
What surprised you most?
I think similar to John, it's just that we had another year of resilient growth, and I think in some ways it shouldn't surprise us, because I'd say that's probably been the surprise of the past couple years now, is that the economy has just continued to chug along, and we're expecting a more pronounced slowdown, that it just hasn't happened. But I think we're still grappling with, I think, just some of the changes that occurred through the pandemic, some of the fiscal policies that we've seen in recent years, some of the secular changes that we've seen, and some of the technological investment, like around generative AI, and all of these have come together and just kept the U.S. economy going.
Anders, what do you think? Biggest
I think I mentioned earlier, I'm in the same camp. I think the economic growth this year has been surprising from that perspective. On the market side, again, as I mentioned, just the rates volatility has been crazy, I would say, and quite surprising. And even a little bit this animal spirits, to your original question, the fact that credit spreads on the fixed income side and equities rallying as much as it had. It's not what your market consensus was going into 2024.
We've got about 6 minutes left, and I do want you mentioned housing, Mark, but John, I want to go to the commercial space. Do you think that commercial real estate had bottomed out in 2024?
No.
When it came to valuation? No?
No, we don't know what's going to happen going forward. Yeah, I mean, the reason that commercial real estate took such a hit is because there's so much vacancies, so many vacancies out there. I mean, we've got buildings in the Carolinas that are ghost towns. Whole buildings are empty. And, that's what's been driving commercially real estate.
What drove that, though, in 2024?
People going home and working.
But that's coming to an end. Even if there's a hybrid model, it's coming to an end.
You think so, but not necessarily.
I want to bring us back to our norm here, where we totally disagree. I do think that commercial real estate bottomed in 2024 in terms of valuations. Certainly, we've got problems in the office market, particularly older
And
buildings.
you mean beyond just Class A space?
Yeah.
You mean in general?
Yeah, I think overall the commercial real estate market has bottomed. It is somewhat interest rate dependent, and if the Federal Reserve has to reverse course and drives rates up unexpectedly, then that would be very disagreeable for commercial real estate. But I think we've seen the worst of office vacancy, and I even expect to see new towers announced in markets in the Carolinas.
Really?
In 2025.
Even on the heels of some of this.
I'm
sorry, Mark, go ahead, finish that.
I said I didn't want to get too far ahead, but even on the heels of this, because what we're seeing is that people want to locate in areas where people want to live and work. And so in Charlotte, that's South End. And it is one of the fastest growing submarkets in the country. And I would not be surprised to see another building go up in South End, because there's just such strong demand for space there.
Yeah, did you see that kind of growth in the other city centers in the Carolinas? Charleston, Columbia, Raleigh?
Charleston's seeing even faster growth than Charlotte is. And in Raleigh, they're seeing a lot of growth. It's it's not as concentrated as in Charlotte. It's a little more spread out, and Greenville is growing very, very rapidly as well.